were able to really elevate your pitch count at times tonight.
Yeah, I think obviously they were fouling off some, getting deep in counts, fouling off a lot of pitches. I felt like there was a ton of foul balls. I think just credit to them for putting up quality ABs and fighting off a lot of pitches and going deeper in the ABs.
Did you feel like your stuff was any different tonight?
Yeah, definitely. I think, it's definitely a challenge, obviously, but I'm not going to put it on that. But I think, it's really hard to throw sinkers here, so I couldn't really throw as many, sinkers in that I would like to. And so I had to rely on the cutter a little bit more, and I had to rely on the slider a little bit more. And, I think you have to be a little bit more fine and a little bit more exaggerated with your areas and where you're trying to throw the ball. And I felt like the stuff overall was well, and I was getting to good areas, but not being able to use the sinker was kind of crippling a little bit at times, and just didn't do my job tonight.
Did you expect that coming in, that could be a problem, or is that something that you quickly found out when you were out there?
Yeah, I mean, these are things you kind of you're aware of in a sense. I think you don't really know what it's like this pitch in the first game. My first time throwing here is throwing in catch play before the game, so you're trying to get a feel quickly for what your stuff's doing and what it's not doing, and you got to make adjustments as quick as you can. And obviously we did an okay job at that, but not good enough, so didn't do my job.
Does that feel like a mental grind as well then when that's happening?
Mm-hmm, yeah, definitely. I think maybe more so than the physical stuff. Trying to be extra fine and trying to figure out what area should I throw this in, and changing your sights constantly, and it's definitely a grind for sure.
Understanding that anybody can win on any given night in baseball, 162 games, but the Rockies were off to the worst 50-game start in Major League history since 1901. Does the loss sting a little bit more when you catch a team when they're really struggling like that? 8-42 they were.
I mean, yeah, anytime you lose, we're all competitors in here. Anytime you lose, we're pissed off, and we're not trying to go out there and lose ball games. And, I think it shows in here, and the energy in here. Obviously, everybody's pissed off, but you play 162 games, so you're going to have games like this. You're going to have nights like this where you don't perform and you don't get the job done, but obviously it pisses you off, and, I'm pissed off right now, so, yeah, it definitely pisses you off.
Blake had a pretty early mound visit in that first thing. Was that just about the stuff being different with and how to kind of adjust without the sinker?
Yeah, I think that was mainly the conversation, just trying to figure out what early on, what looks good, what doesn't look good, and also take a breather. Obviously, you're at different altitudes, so you're kind of grinding a little bit at times, but no excuse. I think obviously I didn't do my job tonight, so I'm more pissed off about that.
Well, here's what happened to Clarke with